Okay, this is Reggie's week 1 video recap. So each week these videos will just go over all of the skills that we've been working on with the puppies that week. So I'm starting out with a little bit of play with the flirt pole, just getting Reggie to maybe chase it around, making sure he's comfortable down here before we get started. What is that, buddy? Oh, what a good boy. And then I do like to take a break, maybe about halfway through after we've worked on a couple skills, and I'll offer him some play with the flirt pole again. What a good boy. Oh my goodness, buddy. So sometimes when we bring the puppies down here, they know that they're down here to work, so they might be more interested in us. They know we have food. But again, I do like to offer the flirt pole first, just for a couple of minutes before we get started here. What do you think, Reggie? Should we get going? Oh my goodness. Okay. So the very first skill that we are going to work on today is charging our clicker. So throughout training, we are going to use our clicker as a reward marker for Reggie. So a reward marker lets the dog know when they got a behavior right, and it will always be followed by food. The clicker is new to Reggie this week, so we need to charge our clicker, meaning we need him to understand the association between hearing the click and getting a piece of food. So we start out every session by doing this a couple of times, maybe 3-4 times in a row. I'm not going to ask Reggie for any specific behaviors. I am just going to click once and give him a piece of food. Ooh. Good job, buddy. And then I'll take a step or two, and we'll repeat. I'll click and give him a piece of food. Good boy. Okay, we'll do that again. Good boy. And we'll do one last time here. Good job, buddy. So in week 1, they're still a little overexcited about the food, so he keeps knocking it out of my hand. I'm just trying to hold it nice and still until he takes it out of my hand instead of knocking it on the floor there. Okay. So right from charging our clicker, we're going to go into following a food lure. So following a food lure or luring is a way that we teach a puppy a lot of different things. That's how we'll teach them to get into sit position. That's how we'll teach them to get into down. But first we need to make sure that they're good at following a food lure. So when I'm working with a food lure, I will hold it nice and flat in the palm of my hand with my thumb, and then I will present my palm to the dog. So I really want Reggie staying connected to that piece of food the whole time. I'll kind of let him lick at it versus holding it like this. It's just going to invite our puppy to try to bite at our fingers. So nice and flat in our hand, he'll have to lick my hand. The goal is I want him to stay connected to it, and I'm just going to get him to take a couple of steps with me. So again, palm facing him, he's licking that piece of food, just taking a couple steps, clicking, and then releasing that piece of food to him. We can do this going forward. What a good boy. And then I do like to practice this with both hands, just to make sure he's comfortable following the food lure, whether it's in my right or my left hand. Good job, buddy. We're gonna do a couple more of those. Good job, bud. And then you can see if I want Reggie to turn around, which I'm gonna show you next, all I have to do is turn my hand around to get him to turn. So starting with the palm facing him, getting him to take a few steps backwards, but now I'm just going to flip my hand around, and now we're walking forward. What a good boy. Okay. We've also been pairing following a food lure with Reggie's name. So starting to work on some name recognition, getting him to follow that piece of food. This is going to be our very beginnings of teaching him a recall. So getting him connected to that piece of food, taking a couple of steps, Reggie, clicking and rewarding. What a good boy. Reggie. I'm going to switch hands here. Reggie. Ooh, what a smart boy. Reggie. Very nice. Good job, buddy. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is get it cookies, or okay. So throughout training, we may need to release Reggie out of position, tell him to go chase a piece of food to move away from us. So I'm going to do that by showing him a piece of food, saying okay, and tossing it away. Okay. If he doesn't see it, I'm just going to point to it. So let's do that again. Okay. Good job, Reggie. Okay. We'll do one more here. Whoop. Okay. Very nice, Reggie. All right. We're going to take a little play break for a moment here. Get it, bud. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I'll let Reggie chase this around. Once he's in possession of it, if he's hanging on to it, I might play some gentle tug with him, just some gentle opposition on it. I don't want to be dragging him across the floor or lifting him up off the ground while he's in possession of that toy, okay? What do you think, bud? Reggie. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Should we move on, bud? Okay, we're going to move on since he's not too interested in it at the moment. All right, next thing we're going to cover are hand targets. So this is going to look kind of similar to following a food lure, but we are going to disconnect from the dog and then have them reconnect. So you're going to hold a piece of food the same way you were holding it when we were working on following a food lure. I'm going to start by getting Reggie to lick it, so it's going to be right up at his face. But then I'm going to quickly move my hand back and cue him to touch. When he reconnects with my hand, that's when I'm going to click and reward. So showing Reggie the food, touch, good boy. Touch, very nice, bud. And again, I like to practice this one with both hands as well. Touch. Good job, buddy. And then we're going to see if he can do a couple without food in my hand. Touch. Good boy. Whoop. Touch. Good job, Reggie. Oh my goodness, we're so excited for this food, bud. We'll do one with my other hand here. Reggie, touch. Good boy. Very nice, bud. What a good man. Okay. So the next thing we're going to move into is our first stationary position. So this week we're working on our sits. So I have 3 pieces of food in my hand. I'm going to start out by getting Reggie to kind of follow a food lure, but then I'm going to stop and move my hand up and back to encourage him to sink into a sit. As soon as his butt hits the ground, I'm going to mark with my clicker, and I'm going to feed him a few in a row before I say okay and let him out of position. So getting him to follow that food lure. Sit. There's 1 cookie. There's 2 cookies. Okay. Good job, buddy. We'll do that one again. Reggie, sit. Whoop. Good boy. Okay. So I'm trying my best. You can see he paws at me a couple times. I'm trying my best not to give him the food until his paws are on the ground. I don't want him to learn that pawing at my hand is going to get him fed. Okay. So let's do this again here. Sit. Okay. Here, bud. We're going to do one more. What a good boy. Reggie. Ooh. Sit. So just waiting till that paw's down to give him that piece of food. Good boy. Okay. Good job, Reggie. Very nice. Okay, we're gonna move right on to our mat skill next. Just breaking up a couple pieces of food here. Reggie, you're such a happy guy. Okay, where did our mat go? Here it is. All right, so goal for our mat behavior this week is I want Reggie seeking out the mat, meaning all 4 paws are on it. I do not care what position he's in. If he does offer us a sit or a down on the mat, that's fine, we'll roll with it. But criteria for week 1 is I just want all 4 paws on the mat. So once he is on the mat, I'm gonna feed him food one at a time right down on the mat. I'll feed him a few in a row. And then I'm gonna say, okay, and toss a piece of food away. And then I'm gonna move the mat to a new spot. When he makes his way back to it is when I'll click. So you can see he's already offering me that down. That's fine, I'm just gonna roll with that. That will be criteria as the weeks go on that we add to it. Good boy. Okay. Again, if you toss that okay cookie and your dog doesn't see it, just point it out to them. Let's do this again. What a good man. Good job, Reggie. So again, feeding one at a time, feeding it right down on the mat instead of right to him, just because that will encourage him to stay on that mat. Okay. I'm using that okay cue to release him. We'll do one more. And the reason I'm moving the mat between each repetition this week is because I want to create a little bit of excitement around that mat. I want to see that he's seeking it out between each repetition. As the weeks go on, the criteria will change a little bit and we'll start leaving the mat in the same spot. What a good boy. Okay. Good job, buddy. All right, we're going to move on. Yeah, good man. Okay. So the next thing we're going to work on is getting Reggie dressed in his harness. So no matter what gear the puppies are wearing, we want to make sure that they're comfortable and confident when wearing it. These are the harnesses that they go home with, so we use these during training. So I find it easiest with these little guys, if we just pick them up. And then while we're holding them, we can put their feet through the harness. Oh my goodness. We can make sure those elbows are all the way through. And then we can connect that Velcro. What a handsome boy. And that clip as well while we're still holding them. So nice and easy, no conflict there. Good job, buddy. And then when Reggie first gets that harness on, I'll get him doing something while he's wearing it. You can kind of see when I put him down, he was like frozen, right? So I like to keep it easy. Either practice something he already knows, maybe have him chase the flirt pole around while he's wearing that harness, just to start to get him used to wearing it. What is this, bud? Ooh. Oh my goodness. Get it. And again, he's not too interested in the flirt pole right now, and that's fine. So we're gonna work on some of the skills that we already worked on, but with him wearing a harness. So maybe we'll do some following a food lure. Reggie. What a good boy. Reggie. Oh my goodness. Reggie. Good boy. Maybe we can do a couple of hand targets. Reggie, touch. Good man. Reggie, touch. Good boy. And then maybe I'll ask him for a sit as well. Reggie, sit. What a good boy. Okay. Good job, bud. All right. And then when I'm ready to take that harness off, I'll pick him up again. Oh my goodness, what are you doing, silly? What a good boy. job, bud. All right, we're gonna move into our body handling next. So our puppies are gonna need a lifetime of vet care, and especially for these guys, grooming as well. So we wanna make sure that they are comfortable and confident with being handled starting at a young age. So for this, I'm gonna get down on the floor. If you don't wanna get down on the floor, you can put your puppy up on some sort of elevated surface as long as it's safe and they're not gonna fall off of it. Oh my goodness, okay. So for this, I'm not going to use the clicker just because you'll see I need both my hands to be able to do this. And I'm working so close to his face that if I'm clicking right by his ear, I don't want it to be too loud for him. Here, go get it. Okay. So when we're working on body handling, I do use food for this. I want to be able to reinforce our dogs for us handling them. And when I say body handling, it's just going to be a little bit more than us just like petting them, right? So maybe I'll start out with handling ears, just flipping that ear back, taking a look inside, yes. Marking that with a yes and giving Reggie that piece of food. Good job, buddy. We'll do the other ear. Yes, good boy. Maybe we'll handle his tail a little bit. So if I'm handling his tail, ideally I'd like him to be standing, so I'll just kind of manipulate him and move him around if I need to. But again, this is all part of handling, making sure he's comfortable with me doing this. Oh my goodness. So it keeps sinking down into a sit, that's okay. There we go, good job, buddy. So when I'm handling the tail, I kind of run my hand along their spine and then pick up their tail. I'm not going right in and reaching for their tail. I'm not putting any heavy pressure on his tail or pulling. I am just gently lifting it. Yes, good boy. What a good man, Reggie. Yeah, oh my goodness. For the paws, I'll start up at their shoulder blade and slide my hand down and then pick up a paw. Yes, good boy. Again, with that, I don't like to go in and reach for a paw right away. I do like to start at a pretty neutral spot on the puppy and then bring my hand down. Yes. Good job, Reggie. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Good job, bud. When I get into doing restraint holds, that is, you'll commonly see that done at the vet, like when they're getting vaccinations. I'm just gonna slide my hand under his belly. So again, he's on the piece of food, licking the piece of food. My other hand just gonna slide under his belly for a brief moment. Yes. Good boy. Such a happy guy. We'll do that again. Yes. And then I do like to handle their eyes and their mouth as well. So for their eyes, I'm just gonna gently lift up their eyelid. So for this, if he's in a sit position, that's fine with me because I can actually see him better. Yes, good boy. Yes. Again, try not to give him that food until those feet are on the ground. And then for his mouth, I'm just gonna gently lift up his gums, or I'm sorry, his lips so I can take a look at his gums. Oh my goodness, bud, here, come on here. There we go. Yes. Just taking a quick peek at those teeth and those gums. Let's see if we can do the other side here. Yes, what a good boy, Reggie. Good job, bud. That is it for Reggie's week 1 video recap. So in your confirmation email, you should have a link that you can follow to see a couple of handouts that we've sent you, as well as some training videos as well. Make sure that you're looking through both of those because those will give you a lot more detailed information on all the skills that we covered with Reggie in week 1. Good boy. Yeah.